I had to take a nap because my head's been pounding after watching the two of them yell at each other. And Hassan, I'm right there with you. Your uncle is a moderate, pushing GOP talking points. And here he is again. Oh my God. He has delusions of grandeur. This is, first of all, he ran in the, not Simi Valley, the one that's right next to it. Not Victorville, the one that's sandwiched in between. And he did terribly, right? And that was just for Congress. Dude has never held public office before. And here he is with his delusions of grandeur after having a huge internet scandal of coming out as transphobic and backing Anna for her disgusting beliefs. And I don't know what support he thinks he's going to have for... He's selling a book, right? I think at the beginning of the show, you showed that he was selling a book. Okay.
2 hours and 17 minutes.
Brother, you're going to ask me if I'm running for president.
Oh, yeah, you're running for president. So, what's going on? What's your goal here? Why are you running for president?
Okay, first of all, it's not official. I've got to get a staff together. When it's 100% for sure, obviously I'll let you guys know it's 100%. But the reason why I'm very...
So if he doesn't even have a staff together yet, that means that he hasn't even... I mean, he didn't even talk about whether or not he put together an exploratory committee, which is one of the legal steps you have to take in order to run for office. So it is now October, Cenk. The first primaries start, I think, in February. How are you going to get on the ballot? Or is this just a book tour? This is some bullshit.
Seriously considering it, leaning in that direction, is because I think there's about a 90% chance that Joe Biden's going to lose. Point one is, unlike Democrats in D.C., I actually think democracy's on the line. I actually think Trump is a fascist. And I think that the country's going to have a very tough time recovering if Trump wins the election again. But the Democrats say, yes, well, on the other hand, we have to bow down to authority, and Joe Biden is the authority figure, so we must all obey him. And if it means we lose our democracy, well...
By the way, he just spent, over an hour beating up his nephew over the fact that some misdemeanors should be considered felonies, and how he has a personal anecdote of a woman with a machete in his neighborhood who was only held for 48 hours. Because I'm sure that's relatable to the rest of us, right, Cenk? You didn't tell us what she was doing. Was she actually threatening people? Or was she just kind of carrying it around and being Halloween-y? What was happening? We don't even know what was happening, and whether or not she actually threatened anybody. This dude is so fucking bizarre.
Well, at least we weren't impolite to Joe Biden and Democratic leaders.
So I agree with you. I think that Democrats have portrayed every single election as the most important election of our lifetimes, and in some respects it is true. However, I do think that if that was the case, then the Democratic Party, or if they actually believed it, they wouldn't put up Joe Biden. They would not have put up Joe Biden last time around, especially when the deck of talent was significantly wider. Of course, you had Bernie Sanders, but even on the neoliberal side, even on the corporate Democrat side, you had way more talent, at least younger talent, that could have absolutely defeated Donald Trump. So now Joe's chances of losing are even larger, despite the fact that if it was, and I do firmly believe this, if it was anyone else, if it was
Give me a break. Are you for real? You've got people out there that love Bernie Sanders. You have people out there that love Trump. Age is not a factor in these elections, other than you media types are constantly pushing it out there like it is. But obviously people don't feel that way. And I'm sorry, but Cenk, Marianne, RFK Jr., these are not respectable options for serious voters. And the majority of the people who actually turn out to the polls care about electing competent people. And we do not see Cenk as being competent.
The same policies that Joe Biden has implemented, some of which I do agree with. I think like the federal agencies have done a pretty good job, NLRB specifically. But if he was a younger guy, if he was the old retail politician Joe, he would be winning by Reagan margins.
Yeah.
I think.
So,
but he's not.
yeah. So first off, on the most important election stuff, I'm on the record. I mean, and I've been doing this a long time. 1996, Bill Clinton versus Bob Dole. At every election, they say it's the most important election. And I said, no, this is the least important election of our lifetimes. Clinton and Dole's policies are nearly indistinguishable. And in 2012, and this will make some heads explode, Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama, a very unimportant election. So Barack Obama winning the first time around, very important. Second time around, sure, I voted for Obama. Of course, Obama is better than Romney. But, I mean, Obamacare was previously called Romneycare. Literally the same policy, right? They're both, one's a corporate Democrat, the other one's a corporate Republican. Yeah, there's issues around the margins, but overall, not earth-shattering. Mitt Romney would have done things that were very similar to Barack Obama, right? So now, this is earth-shattering. Donald Trump tried a coup. He has a fake elector scheme, and he wanted to, we start the riot, we delay the vote, and then we kick it back to the states. The state Republican legislators install the fake electors. The House votes for Trump, lead the coup. I'm not letting that frickin' fascist back in to office. He's never going to let go. He doesn't believe in democracy. He doesn't believe in America. Democrats think, generally speaking, Democratic Party leadership thinks, yeah, but Bernie Sanders is worse because we're all corrupt and we all want to make tons and tons of money. At least Donald Trump still is corrupt, just like us, and he'll lower corporate taxes. All of our lobbyists will, party in the streets, etc. So they're not taking it seriously when they need to take it fucking seriously. Things are going to change drastically in this country if Trump wins. Is Biden going to lose? Well,
so naturally, Cenk, you will be stepping down from TYT, right? Because that's a conflict of interest to be running your own media network while you're running for president, right? So you'll be stepping down, right?
When Biden won in 2020, won by only 44,000 votes in the Electoral College in 3 swing states. So razor-thin margin. At that time, he was polling at 52%. Right now, he's polling at 39%. That is 13 points lower. Why in the world would we go into an election with a guy polling 13 points lower than when he barely beat Trump in the first place? And now the Democrats have to win by 5.
Your numbers are off, too. He won by 10 million votes. And he won several swing states. It was unexpected, and he did much better than we thought he would do. And the fact is, he has implemented policy that America likes and enjoys. So I don't know why you're so angry and, doing all your bullshit all the time, other than you want to sell your books, right? Just like Marianne.
Vote to win the Electoral College. Joe Biden won by 4.5 and barely squeaked by. You got to get to 5 to be even close to comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Joe Biden now losing by 1.2 points in the average of the polls, okay? So that means he's down by at least 6 to Donald Trump. No one should be down to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is incredibly unpopular. 55% of the country despises Donald Trump. And if you're losing to Donald Trump, you suck at politics. I don't mean the Republicans. I get it. In a Republican primary, he's very popular. But in a general election, a Democrat should be
they suck
bullying Donald Trump. But they do suck.
I agree.
So now, my thing...
So what is your impact going to be?
So my impact is, for God's sake, get Biden out of the goddamn race. So there's a couple of different scenarios here. Number one, if somehow I get to 20... And remember...
See, this is why he's like a GOP fucking plant. because we do not have another Democrat running at this point, and it wouldn't make any sense. We have an incumbent president. He's doing well, and the only reason that there's so much hate out there is because of people like you, Cenk. You're out there on the low dregs of the fucking internet telling people to hate on our leadership.
RFK Jr. got to near 20, okay? So it's not at all
16,
impossible.
which
right?
is crazy.
Right.
RFK Jr. is currently in the teens. Well, the speculation at the moment is that he will take more away from Donald Trump than he will
He's going
from
independent, so he's not
Joe
in the
Biden.
Democrat.
Yeah, but he's got to get, if he's running as a Democrat, he's got to get through the primaries. How is he going to get the DNC nomination? By courting Republicans. Like, it's like you guys don't think. The two of you obviously do not participate in party politics at all, because that's not how the primaries work. The primaries are about electing somebody for the party nomination. And it's not going to be RFK Jr. because he is courting Republicans.
Party anymore, so he's gone.
But
so
but as an independent, he will play the role of a spoiler, not for the Democratic Party, but instead for the Republican Party, is the speculation at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with you, but that's not relevant to the Democratic primaries.
Okay.
My point.
So how are you going to get into the primaries?
So if I get into the primaries and I get to about 20 points, everyone will panic. You recognize that? Like, so if I get to 25, it'll be a 5-alarm fire in DC.
Okay, but how do you get into the primaries to begin with?
Right.
Run. So I'm do background work. Get on the ballots. So is it easy to get on the ballots? Well, actually, for 48 out of the 50 states, it's not overwhelming. You collect signatures. We have a lot of passion. Collecting signatures shouldn't be that big a deal. Money, we're going to be able to raise decent amount of money is my guess. So there are several different obstacles in my path for sure. It is nowhere near easy. It'll be incredibly difficult. But if the polling shows we want someone else, then Whitmer, Newsom, Pritzker, Shapiro, all those governors will come rushing in, okay? Now, if I beat those governors, fantastic. But the point is, it can't be Biden because Biden is almost certainly going to lose. And we can't lose this election. And Haas, they're not going to run because...
Hang on a second. Okay, let's get back to it. I was trying to find something, but I don't know what the search terms would be for it, but I have a picture of Cenk standing with like 2 other dudes at the 2019 convention in Long Beach. I don't know how he thinks he can have enough support to get enough signatures to get his name on the ballot, but alright, okay.
Because they bowed their heads to Joe Biden and the Democratic Party leadership. They think it's heresy to run against them. I'm saying it's heresy not to run. So why am I running instead of someone else? Because I literally tried to get every other person in the race. I asked all the progressives to run, they wouldn't run. I asked all the Democratic governors to run, they wouldn't run. So somebody's got to do something because we're going to hit that iceberg. So if we're going to hit the iceberg, okay, I will get so much abuse for running, it will be legendary, right? And all the media will hate me or ignore me, right?
Yeah.
And there'll be nothing but abuse. But I'm not just going to go quietly into that good night. So if no one else is running and nobody wants Joe Biden, I'm going to run and I'm going to force the issue.
So best case scenario is you run and then the media hates you, which they will do that. You did it in fucking the California jungle primary, or not jungle primary, the jungle special election. That's when New York Times said you agree with David Duke and are a supporter of bestiality. So that's the best case scenario, is that the New York Times calls you a supporter of bestiality. The worst case scenario is they just don't talk about you and then you have the same approval rating or the same polling results as Marianne Williamson.
So, Haas, what you're pointing out is the number one problem that progressives have, which mainstream media hates us. And they have a massive corporate bias, status quo bias, and then they call, oh, that's objective position. The objective position is to be in favor of corporate rule. And so all the progressives are radicals and in favor of bestiality and whatever else that they're making up. And then what the New York Times did in that congressional race, let alone CNN, LA Times, etc., was basically mask off moment for them, where they're like, we're just going to make things up. We're just going to lie about this guy, right? Period. No subtlety, no nuance. He's going to lie after lie. So I'm perfectly aware of those things. But Haas, dynamic has changed to some degree. So for my book, before the presidential thing came out, I've already been on 20 shows or so, right? Those 20 shows didn't even exist 4 years ago, so definitely 8 years ago, right? So now there's a whole different ecosystem where you can get your message out. Can you get your message out enough to get name recognition in 4 months to be able to beat Joe Biden? Not necessarily, but it's a fighter's chance. And the only thing we have left is a fighter's chance. So I will go on every show, no matter if the right wing, left wing, they disagree with me, they agree with me. I don't care.
He's selling a book, just like Marianne Williamson. He's selling a book. Right, Cenk? You're selling a book. That's why all you care about are fucking, live stream shows on YouTube, Twitch, shit. How do you feel like that's a real way to campaign for the presidency? Do you have a tour scheduled? Are you planning to do rallies? Are you serious about this? Because I don't think you are. And even if you were, you're starting so late in the game, you don't even have staff hired at this point. Oh my God, dude.
Go and I'll make the case. Look, the Democrats never deliver for you. And this for sure, if I win, I'm going to do everything in the world to make sure we pass those progressive laws. And nothing's going to stand in my way, and I will break anything in my path to make sure that I do that. And everybody who knows me, whether they like me or they dislike me, they know I'm not full of shit, right? They know that I'm a fighter, and I'm going to go fight for those things. Like, here, I'll give you the example I always give. Paid family leave, polls at 84%. Why isn't Joe Biden fighting for it? Why isn't any Democrat fighting for it? It polls at 74% among Republicans. The whole country wants paid family leave, and not a single goddamn politician will do it. So there is some chance that when I scream from the rooftops, and I'm good at that for God's sake, give moms 12 weeks off, but after they have a baby, that the whole country is going to say, oh, finally, there's another option. It's an incredible long shot, Haas. Everybody knows that, right? But I'm going to give them an option because no one else will. And by the way, every politician on the Democratic side who didn't run should be deeply embarrassed that they bowed their heads to a wounded antelope because they now think the Democratic Party is about authoritarian rule. I don't agree. I don't obey. And I'm going to go in, if I go in, and I'm going to fight like hell.
I just realized that the worst double whammy is the worst case scenario is that you get 10% and no one joins the race. And then Biden inevitably loses not because of you, but because he's Biden and old. And then the media will Jill Stein you permanently, despite the fact that your impact was not even marginal in that situation.
No, of course. Yeah, that's the minute. Look, why is everybody scared to run? Because the goons in mainstream media will blame you for the loss when it was their candidate who lost. I've already lived this. They did it with Hillary Clinton. So Hillary Clinton was an awful candidate. People don't want the establishment. They try to force the establishment down people's throats. And then when Bernie ran to give them an alternative, and he would have won, and the polling indicates that very clearly, they said, oh, it was Bernie's fault. It wasn't our beloved Hillary Clinton. She was spotless. It was the Russians. It was Bernie. So is the mainstream media going to do that? Of course they are. They can come kiss my ass. So, and I'm going to fight them now. I'm going to fight them again, and we're going to win because they're going to capsize, and we get larger every single day. So if I'm worried about what the mainstream media is going to say, of course I'd never run. Nobody would ever run, and that's why nobody else is running. Well, you know what? Rest of the Democrats, either gather up some fucking balls and get in the race, or get out of my way.
All right. Well, good luck to you on that endeavor. Godspeed, brother.
Goddamn right. So if I finish up and I get the staff and I go in, come back, I'll tell you the website, and then let's see what we can do. And by the way, and people might say, hey, you know what, Cenk? We don't believe it.
How are you gonna get the staff when you just had 6 people leave your show because of your transphobia? How's that gonna happen? I know organizers from across the country, and I just don't see anybody wanting to work on your campaign, especially after what you just did in the Simi Valley area, trying to carpetbag your way in there. And it looks like this is a book tour. You started off the show saying, look at the new book I wrote. This is a book tour. It looks stupid. And to say that Biden doesn't have a chance against a guy that's about to get arrested and incarcerated in 4 different scenarios is ridiculous.
We think Biden's going to win. We think Biden's lovely. So when you run, we're not going to give you any money. We're not going to support you. We're not going to volunteer for you. No, Biden. Okay, that's what they wanted. There's nothing I could do about that, okay? But my guess is a lot of people will go, well, at least the brother's trying, right? And so...
No, they won't. They won't. People are cynical. They're not... No. People are cynical. They're motivated by propaganda. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But like I said, last time... You did this in California.
I know what the difference is.
What?
So in California, I got annihilated, right? So
yeah, you got 6%.
Yeah, well, I got no plea. By the time they got to 76% of the vote counted, they still haven't finished counting. I got all the way up to 6.6%.
Yeah, you got 6.6%.
So I got annihilated, right? So why? Oh, you ran for a lower seat and did worse. Why in the world would you do better in the presidential race? There's a very clear reason why. Because almost all of it, and this is what I learned from that race, actually, even having more money doesn't make a difference. More ads doesn't make a difference. There's a lot of things that don't make a difference. Only one thing that drives elections, and that's media. If you're running a local congressional race, corporate media will bury you. They'll write smear articles about you and never give the mic back to you. Then you have no chance of ever reaching the voters.
So how are
you done?
How are you going to stop that?
But in national politics, in a presidential run, there's tons of media. Yeah, the media might be negative. Yes, the mainstream media might ignore you in the beginning, but there's tons of inevitable media that is going to want to know about that race.
If that was the case, then Marianne Williamson would be trailing right now.
So I love Marianne Williamson. I give her all the credit in the world. Her policies are infinitely better than Biden's, and I think she has a better chance of winning than Biden. Go ahead and have your head explode if you think that's the wrong statement. God bless, okay? And it's not Marianne's fault. We just have different personalities. I'm a steamroller. I'm an endless fighter. Marianne makes her points in perfectly cogent, wonderful, pleasant ways. And it sucks that it doesn't break through, but unfortunately it doesn't break through. And I can't express how much respect I have for Marianne Williamson, who had the courage to do it from day one. So at the end of the day, people go, hey, you know what, Cenk, you screamed from the rooftops, but then I found out Marianne is better than you. Hey, great, wonderful. Anybody but Biden so we could win the freaking election.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
How are you going to get over the natural-born citizen issue?
Hey, by the way, that's the second reason why I'm running. The Biden issue and the winning this election, by far the most important. But guys, this bullshit that you guys have heard your whole lives, and I've heard it 2,000 times because I'm a naturalized citizen, that you have to be a natural-born citizen to run is just not true.
George Romney did it.
Dude, he doesn't even qualify. He does not even qualify. I suspected this when I first started watching the video. It's taken me a long time to get through it because it's like over 2 hours long. But this whole family has immigrated to America from Turkey. They were not born in America. Cenk, you don't even qualify. So this is your book tour. And you're being a dumbass. And it's just going to make you look horrible because literally you don't even qualify.
Yeah. He ran for president. For those of you who don't know, he was born in Mexico.
Yep.
Because his family wanted to do polygamy.
Yeah.
So they moved to Mexico. Sorry,
so
go ahead.
There's a bunch of things. John McCain was born in Panama. Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
No, those are different because those
are different.
Yeah,
those are different.
Those are service members born on bases, stuff like that.
Yeah, Ted Cruz actually is not different, but that's a whole different story, okay? But the bottom line is, Constitution, the part that we all learned in 8th grade civics class, oh, here's the requirements for being president. You got to be above a certain age.
You forgot.
You have to be born in America.
You forgot one person. Barack Obama. He was born in Kenya.
Okay, so in case you don't know, kidding. Okay, so, but what they don't tell you is that the Fifth Amendment amended that part. Now, is that my opinion? No. Definitive law review articles, University of Illinois in Chicago, explains there is no question that Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment jurisprudence shows that it amended the earlier part of the Constitution, and naturalized citizens have 100% same rights as natural-born citizens. And there's a very specific case, Schneider versus Rusk. It is definitive. It says the Fifth Amendment amended the earlier part of the Constitution, and naturalized citizens cannot be discriminated against in any way, shape, or form. And have this.
I don't know how you can illustrate that you're more crazy than you are right now. Like, that, I'm sorry, but no. No, Cenk, you don't qualify. So, it sounds like you want to do an elaborate book tour. You're going to hire staff to do that, and you're going to set up a PAC, right? So that you can do it under certain tax protections, which should be illegal. You just spent an hour complaining about misdemeanors when you want to do tax fraud. You want to do tax fraud. Okay, bro.
Same exact rights. So you know how many naturalized citizens there are in this country? 25 million of them. It is a civil rights issue. So you're saying to 25 million Americans, you're not really American enough. You're not allowed to run for president. That's just not true. So if all I do is I run, and we definitively settle this, and 25 million Americans are liberated in a sense and become 100% American, which they clearly are, then that's a giant win.
I'm not kidding when I say I feel like you get more media clout if you said Obama was a naturalized citizen born in Kenya. The media would definitely pay attention to you then.
I know, but I'm not.
Like, Cenk, do you even understand why that was part of the Constitution? Why that was part of the Constitution? It's so that people from other countries can't take over our country. That you have to at least be born here. It has to be your homeland, and you're not just coming in and trying to imperialize the country. You are so goddamn stupid, I can't even.
I'm going to say things that aren't true,
What's his middle name? Hussein. I rest my case.
said Hassan.
Wow.
What?
Said
I don't
Hassan.
know what you're talking about.
Us.
Who's that guy?
Look, first of all, you know the natural born citizen stuff is garbage on an issue in terms of morality, in terms of...
No, I agree with you. I mean, yeah. If we're being serious, yes. I agree. I think that naturalized citizens should be able to run for president. I do. It's just that America is a reactionary white supremacist nation built on those fundamentals. I'm going to...
elected Barack Hussein Obama and had him at an 83% approval.
Yeah, that was Barack Hussein Obama, who was incredibly charismatic and ran against a historically, notoriously bad candidate who was so bad that America, or at least the Democratic Party, almost elected a socialist in 2016. But, you know, there's differences there, but, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Barack Obama was incredibly charismatic. God bless. But what that showed was, yeah, 83% of the country, it's cool with a guy named Barack Hussein Obama, biracial, and, you know, an African American. So people ignore that, but that's reality. So all this...
You know what people do ignore? The Duluth Dyson, Larry Sinclair, just sucking Barack Obama's dick.
What am I gonna do with this guy?
I'm just saying, dude. That's who the people are actually ignoring. The truth about the matter.
All right.
In Gurney, Illinois, on that one fateful afternoon, Larold Sinclair, a man of many names. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, go on.
No, Republicans make up crazy shit all the time. In my case, good news for them. They don't have to make it up. Here, I was not born in the country. Look up Schneider v. Rusk. Look up the law review articles. There's no question. We can definitely...
Then stop wasting our time. Please stop wasting our time. You don't qualify, Cenk. You literally are just creating a pack to create jobs for your friends and experience tax benefits, right?
Run for president. So if all I do is break that mythology and 25 million people don't hear 2,000 times over in their lives, hey, you can't run for president, right? Then I'll have done some service to the country.
I'm so cooked. I just, anyway, whatever. We'll see. There's gonna be fucking Oppo research if you do actually reach like critical mass and legitimately constitute a threat to Brandon. Oh my god, it's gonna be fucking unbearable.
Yeah,
but
that's not
you
gonna
know,
happen.
it'll be fine. I think.
No, it'll be unbearable. And everybody knows that, look, normal corporate politicians run. I'm serving the country. No, you're not. You're serving yourself. Get rich and famous, and you want to have power and status, right? In my case, everybody knows I'm going to get nuked. Media and the Democratic Party, let alone the Republican Party.
Not just you, your family as well.
Yeah, and that's why good people don't run. Because the bad guys say, we're going to nuke you, we're going to be super unfair. I mean, the last time you mentioned a bunch of examples of the New York Times, and they had to admit that they lied about David Duke, and that I actually kicked his ass in that interview and called him an anti-Semite bigot, and they were goddamn liars pretending that I agreed with him when it was the exact opposite. But another part of that story was they called me anti-Muslim and never clarified that I'm born Muslim. My background's Muslim. I'm an atheist now, but you don't think that's a relevant fact? Oh yeah, will the New York Times lie about me? Of course they're gonna lie about me. Will CNN lie? Of course. MSNBC will be by far my biggest opponent, right? And I welcome that fight. I welcome their hatred. And I'm going to fight for people, and that's who I am. And so it is what it is, and I'm not going to stop. So, look, man, you're a cynic, and so I know you don't love this kind of talk.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like that, I started Operation Hope at TYT. I believe in hope, and I believe in being relentless. You're going to get knocked down 2,000 times. The trick is get the fuck back up. When you get back up enough times, eventually you win.
All right. Good luck. Godspeed.
Oh my
Godspeed,
God.
everybody. Let's do this. Cenk 2024.
All right. We're
Wow. Cenk, you crazy. You crazy. You were not going to win in the North LA County area. You were certainly not going to, I mean, like, you don't even qualify to run for president. And you're trying to, like, do some mental gymnastics to make it out like you have a chance in this. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, to be real, because I find you absolutely obnoxious. I find you to take moderate positions. You claim that you're a progressive and you're not. You attack marginalized groups. I just, it'll be nice to see you get rejected on every level in this, because you will never be able to run for president. Oh my God, even.